everyone. I figured I would, goodness gracious, I don't want to turn my device, so hopefully this will work. Everything's got to be difficult in Facebook land sometimes. I'm probably going to come up sideways to you guys, and I don't know if I'll get notifications. Let's see. Is it going to change for me? I don't know. We'll see. The reason I popped on real quick is I know we've had some questions about the decal that's going on. Hopefully I can see comments. Let's see what I can do here. This is not working the way I wanted it to. Is my phone going to fight with me today? I'm thinking it might. Is that better, guys? I don't even see who's in here. Alright, well, hopefully, since I don't know if my screen is going to rotate, here's what we're going to talk about real quick. I wanted to pop in and give some input on the blocks that we're doing. What we're doing for the different stitch blocks that we have going on, people were asking about sizing and hook sizes and tips and tricks. The block that I did, I used the Tunisian purl stitch for the border. I incorporated the border for two reasons. Now, the first one is to control the curling. If you're going to keep this as a washcloth or just blocks that you want to use for different things, whether you want to make these into a little pillow, whatever you want to do, it's up to you. But what we're going to do is I incorporated the border in. So I used the Tunisian purl stitch. I did a yarn under for my Tunisian purl stitch to make it just a pinch tighter, because I wanted my blocks to be uniform. We will have a few things that are going to change for the sizing. There's a couple blocks that you're going to have to use a different hook to match your gauge. So hopefully I will address that with each pattern that comes. You guys will get a video. Let me address some of the questions that we had, or the tips. Your cast on. When we're doing the cast on, we will be doing, you'll be chaining 47. The loop on your hook will count as stitch 48. So when we cast on, we're going to, into each loop on the back of the hook, we're on the back. We're not skipping that initial stitch. Now, with that being said, if you want to do a blanket and you're going to be joining the pieces as you go, hi Andrea, if you're going to be joining the pieces as you go, you may want to chain the 48. So if you chain the 48, then you'll have that loop in the corner, and you can mark that loop. So you could even do this as like a corner to corner entrelac pattern. And you guys can figure out what you want to do with your border. Do you want to include your border in every stitch? Don't you? Do you want to adjust the size of your blocks? So if you want to adjust the size of your blocks, 36 stitches is going to get you the 10-inch block. The 32 stitches. 40 stitches is going to get you the 12-inch block, and the 48 stitches is going to get you a 48, or the 48 stitches is going to get you a 14-inch block. All of these patterns will be done by the time that you get them, so they will be tested. They'll be looked over by us guys and the mods here. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask along the way. Yes, I'm doing my Tunisian purl stitch with the yarn under. It does make it a pinch tighter. You may not like that. You may be a tight crocheter. The gauge, the border, and the sizing, 32 stitches will get you the 16-inch block. 40 stitches will get you the 12-inch block. And 48 stitches will give you the 14-inch block. So, I'm seeing who's watching. I'm not getting comments. I don't know why. Facebook is just what they are today. So if I don't see anything, I will go back in and watch this and answer you below. There will be 1 or 2 blocks that we will need to change the gauge, so your hook size will matter. That will be stated on the pattern, and it will be in the video when I upload the pattern. These are all free. They're going to stay in the group for a whole year. Once the year is up and we've done them all, they'll stay up a few months after that, and then I will be taking them down. And then from there, some of these will be used in a pattern that we're actually doing, so that should help everyone there. So, do you need to incorporate your border that I have in here? It depends on what you're using the block for. Hi, Melinda. So, no, you don't have to incorporate it. You could do a border after this. You could do, you could make your block smaller by increasing the 6 stitches, the 8 stitches, however many you want to make your block the size that they want. And for some reason, my phone was not turning this video. So, I have to hold you right side up so you're a little shaky. The first block that we did, I do not have it finished yet. I have to cut my yarn, but let's see if I can get it good in here. This is our block, and that is with our border. So let me see if I can do something with this. Of course, nothing's going to cooperate today. But this is going to be your block with your border. I will take pictures of this and put it into the group. The border helps it lay flat. If you want to do like a corner-to-corner entrelac blanket with these blocks, you can take this border completely out, or you can just incorporate the border into the bottom and the side of the block. And that's why I'm coming on to give you the information to adjust your blocks. So you can just do the corner, this Tunisian purl stitch on your outside blocks and across your bottom as you make your pattern. If you do that and you're going to use the join as you go corner to corner entrelac, I do recommend that you take the time to add that 1 chain when we are casting on. So you would really chain 48, and then which gives you 49 stitches because you have the loop on your hook. Miss that first chain and cast on. For the regular blocks, if you are making something that you are not joining together, you don't need to go in the corner block, or you're going to join all these afterwards when you figure out what colors you want where, then you do not need to have that chain 1 that we're missing in the corner of the cast on row. Now, the chain 1 for your bind off. Hi, Juanita. Your chain 1 for your bind off. I do recommend this. Why? Because when you do the chain 1 and then you bind off, what happens is when you do the chain 1 and you bind off, that creates an extra stitch. When you just go from your corner, the loop that's on your hook, and you just bind off to the next stitch, what that does is it causes you to lose a stitch. So if you have 48 stitches across the bottom and you're going to add this other block, you're only going to have 47 where you bound off. So that's why I recommend the chain 1 before you bind off. So again, this will be, it's a terrible picture, I know. But this is going to be our first block with the Tunisian simple stitch. The Tunisian purl stitch I did yarn under for, so that it was a bit tighter to help me match the gauge of the Tunisian simple stitch without having to change hook sizes. Do we have any questions so far? And I know Facebook has a lag, so I'll give you a second to ask. Sorry, I'm shaking you guys all over the place. The next block that we are going to be doing is going to be stitches that are crossed. So, if you are going to crisscross stitches, how did you do the border? The border is the Tunisian purl stitch. It's graphed into the design that is at the top of the page. It's linked, and there is a block being released every month. So the border is the Tunisian purl stitch. The only thing is, with the purl stitch, I did a yarn under so that I didn't have to change hook size. Does that make sense, Mary? So, my block here is kind of all over the place, but I know it's curling up now, but when I actually lay this block, it does lay pretty flat, and I think that's the benefit of cotton. So, if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask under the post when this is made or in the comments. I think that I should get the notifications for the comments here. The alternating crisscross stitch is going to be the next block, but before I hop to that, when you guys get your pattern for your Tunisian simple stitch February block, there is in the corner, and I know this is backwards for you guys, and I apologize, there is your diagrams that tell you what things are. You do not need to know how to read diagrams for this pattern because it's also going to offer the written. But here is our little chart. And on the chart, I like to color in my bind off row because it makes unfortunately, when you change programs, originally when you do this and you do create the chain and the bind off, it makes them into both white circles. I don't like that, so I go back into this pattern after I print it, and my bind off row, where it says bind off TPS, I actually color that in black or whatever color you want, and then I go into this top row and I'm going to color this in. So that is going to help me remember my bind off row, because I like different symbols for different things. You do not have to read this symbol chart. Do not panic and think, oh my gosh, there's only a chart for me to follow and I can't follow crochet charts. For the most part, I'm going to try to stick to the standard stitches where I can. The Tunisian, with some Tunisian stitches, there is just not a crochet standard like there is in regular crochet. So as you all know, the double crochet has the little line, it's the T with the line through it, and it says that means you yarn over once. We're not going to have that on all of the patterns because some things there are not a pattern, there's not a stitch that is standard. Also, the program that I have does not have all of the Tunisian simple or the Tunisian stitches, but when I do one that's going to have a different stitch, I am going to explain why I did it that way. But so far, we're starting with the February block. The link is at the top of the page in the comments under Angela's post that shows the little Graphghan block. So if you guys are doing the pillow, or if you're doing the blocks, in Angela's post, in the comments, the first comment in blue is the graph. The second comment under that is blue is the Tunisian stitch. So they are a little separate. Once you have printed your pattern out, your February block will have a written. The edge stitch, I do talk about frequently in here. The edge stitch is the loop that is on your hook. and the last stitch, because the first stitch that's on your hook and the last stitch are never worked in a pattern stitch. And I think that that's why a lot of people will look at their work and say, oh, it's not clean, I can't understand what's going on. It's because, you know, somebody may purl the last stitch, or they'll try to purl the first stitch. We're not doing that. The edge stitch, in, I don't want to say all patterns, but most, 99% of the patterns will not have the first stitch in a block purled or worked in a stitch pattern. So a lot of designers will call them an edge stitch, because you will have the first loop on your hook that's not worked in the pattern, and the last loop you're going under both of the legs of the V, and that is not worked in a pattern stitch either. So those are marked on our patterns as edge stitches, and if you guys have any questions along the way here, do not hesitate to ask. There are no stupid questions, and I am human. I may have designed this with a flaw, so don't be ashamed, or don't think, you know, oh, I just don't understand. So please ask. So the February block says that it is in cotton. Use a hook sizes two sizes larger than recommended on the yarn label for crochet hook. We are casting off 2 at a time. There is no yarn over and cast off 1, or chain 1 as they call it, and then yarn over and pull through 2. For this block, we are yarning over and pulling through 2 all the way across, because it's going to give us a crisper edge on the left side if you were right-handed. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask under this video, or ask in the group. And I think that's pretty much it for this block. The next block will be released on the beginning of the month. After I release the block, the pattern, and give you guys a chance to download it and look at it, within a day or two you will have another tips and tricks video just like this. You guys can join me live or ask questions later, because I know everybody's at work and I know everybody's busy with things. So the next block that we're going to be doing is going to be the alternating crossed stitch, and it will look like this. And no, I'm not done with mine yet. I can only crochet so fast. And this also has the Tunisian purl stitch as the border, and I'm also yarning under for this one. We will be using a different size hook to match gauge. If you are doing blocks, then it really won't matter as much, but if you are doing this because you're making a blanket and you're joining them, since you are crossing 2 stitches, your work is going to shrink up. So I will be using, I believe, an 8mm for mine. I'm still gauge swatching, so, you know, don't panic. I will let you know. So, hi Rhonda. Hi Mary. I think I got everybody. Hi Jennifer. Alright, so that's the update for block number 1. If you guys have questions, don't hesitate to ask. If anybody's having problems finding the pattern, I will link the post in the comments under this video in the group. So I thought I'd pop on and let everybody know what's going on. And if you want to change your size blocks, that's how you can do it. So if you missed something, you can rewatch this. For those of you that wanted to do the 10-inch blocks, I'm going to, like I said, you want 32 chains for those. You want the 40 chains for the 12-inch blocks, and for the 14-inch blocks, you're going to do the 48. You can eliminate your border to get rid of some of those stitches if you are doing a blanket, or you can keep the border on the top or the side and the lower bottom if you're going to be joining blocks in the corner to corner entrelac method. It all depends on what you want to do. and most of these blocks have a 2-stitch repeat. So with that being said, it's easy to get rid of the 8 or 12 or 16 blocks, whatever you need to get rid of, in the sense that you can just take them from the center of the graph. So if anybody has any questions or any problems, don't hesitate to shoot me a message or ask on here, and I will help you alter your graph pattern. So thank you guys for popping on, and if you have any questions about the blocks, let me know and I'll help you. Bye guys.